Everybody will kind of grab their seats, we'll get going.
Commissioner, do you have tickets?
I'm going to go to Tiger Bay. It was a choice we had to make.
I'm going to the other one. So.
Okay, good, good. But, all right. But that's, I've got time for, what time's the one you're going to start?
I think 11:30 is like networking, and then it
Okay, well,
starts
if
at
you,
noon.
if you think we're going to run over.
I don't
wouldn't
think so. I'm gonna talk
I'll
fast.
be shocked if that's true. But anyway, all right. Well, welcome, everybody. This morning, you're in the Government Services Building 2, Board Chambers. It's April 19th, and this is the Tourist Development Council regular meeting. We have an agenda, and we'll get started first with a pledge and a moment of silence. So the flag is on my right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Seated. We'll have a moment of silence, and I'll just leave it at that right now. All right, and we'll get going. They've asked me to read a couple of items first, which I will do now. Okay. At the January 18th, 2023 TDC meeting, the following items were documented as conflicts of interest per Florida State 112.3143, parentheses 4, parentheses A. Item 6A, Stephen Baker of Hammock Beach Golf Resort did not participate in the vote. Item 6B, Stephen Baker of Hammock Beach Golf Resort did not participate in the vote. Item 7A, Stephen Baker of Hammock Beach Golf did not participate in the vote. And item 10A, David Sullivan of the Flagler County Commission did not participate in the vote. We do that to make sure we're on the up and up on that, and no conflict of interest. So thank you for that. We'll now get on with the meeting. We've done the pledge and a moment of silence. So item 2 is the meeting minutes. I went through the meeting minutes. Did everybody have a chance to take a look? And if so, I could get a motion to approve the minutes unless there are changes.
Second. Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Anyone in the public during the minutes? None heard. So all those in favor of approving the minutes from the January 18th regular meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item 3, financial reports. So Amy, do we have a quick briefing on that, starting with the revenue report?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. And make sure, TDC members, that your mic is on when speaking and that you put your mouth up to the mic so that Christina can get those minutes clear. Yes, so for our revenue, we recently got our March numbers, and keep in mind that's the collection month. It's the activity, it reflects the activity that happened the month prior, and we were able to recover from the hurricanes. We had 2 months down, so now year to date we are back up 6%, and the 2 months that really took us to that point was January and March. So again, the March number was reflective of activity in February, which was bike week, and we had a great bike week. So happy to report we are trending up.
Very good. So as far as the revenue report goes, or any other comments from the board? I wanted to mention for the board that at our regular Board of County Commissioners meeting this past Monday evening, Stephen Baker was reappointed to the Tourist Development Council, and we have a new member back, actually, after a couple of years, Eric Cooley from City of Flagler Beach. So I wanted to welcome them. I should have done that up front.
Thank you.
So on the revenue report, just reported by Amy, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the revenue report. Anybody from the public? I don't see anybody coming forward on that. So all those in favor of approving the revenue report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Revenue report passes unanimously. We'll go on with the budget to actual.
Nothing really to report, no concerns, and we're still on track and good for the year.
All right, I'm not sure then we need an actual motion on that, do we? I guess we
Yes,
do.
To accept.
So the budget to actual report has been made. I need a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second on the budget to actual. No one from the public is coming forward to speak. So all those in favor of the report as submitted for the budget to actual signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously. So we'll go on to item 4, marketing report. A, January 2023 marketing report.
Okay, Candy's going to pull it up real quick.
What-
Thank
So
you.
this is before Courtney starts, this is a summary of the, what's in your packet for each month, which includes all of our Google Analytics and reporting. So we just have extracted a few of the highlights because it's quite a lengthy report, but these are the key takeaways.
So out-of-state traffic experienced a 40% increase from a little bit more than 21,000 sessions in 2022 to 30,000 sessions in 2023. Sessions from Atlanta, which experienced the largest growth, were concentrated on the homepage, the webcams, and events. There were 378 visitor guide requests in January, and our most popular blog post was the bucket list feature with about 5,900 page views. The events page saw a 48% increase in clicks and a 181% increase in impressions. Terms with the highest growth in clicks were related to things to do, and terms with the highest growth in impressions were related to our destination name.
Okay, so that was the January 2023 marketing report. We need a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the January 2023 marketing report. Anybody in the audience wants to speak to that, come forward. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes unanimously, the January 2023. We now go on to the February 2023 marketing report.
Right, in February, there were 252 unique newsletter signups. Our top partner referrals were Equestrian Adventures of Florida, Princess Place Preserve, and Marineland. Atlanta, New York, and Ashburn were our top 3 cities for out-of-state traffic to the website. And about 60% of our social traffic came from Facebook and went to the bucket list blog post.
All right, that was the February 2023 marketing report. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Public comment, none. There is a motion to approve the February 2023 marketing report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. On to the March 2023 marketing report.
Okay, blog posts held 3 of the top 20 overall landing pages, and the blog as a whole drove 15,000 sessions in March. That's a 22% increase year over year. 217 people selected events and festivals as their interest when they signed up for our visitor newsletter. And then our visitor guide requests year to date are up 34%.
Excuse me, that's my phone. As we're That's the other phone. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I'd have to say about the January, February, March, I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of a drop-off, with the beach situation is not really great at the beginning of the year so far, and so I'm encouraged by that, I guess. Apparently, we have not seen a big drop-off year to year. And
Our marketing is so good.
That's right. And we have to remember that not all of the beach is closed or injured. So I think they still come to what they love, which is Flagler Beach, and they just kind of find a place where it's able to access.
But even our beach out at Bay Drive, was closed for a while and so on and so forth. So anyway, it's encouraging. So we need a motion to approve the March 2023 marketing report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the March 2023 marketing report. Apparently no public comment on that, so bring it back to the board. All those in favor of March 2023 marketing report as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. All right. Shelley's here, good. Hi. This is always interesting. The Tourist Development Tax update by Shelley Edmondson from our Flagler County Tax Collector's Office. Welcome
Hi.
again.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back, Mr. Cooley. All right, so this is just our brief collection report, just to keep you updated, what we're doing on our side. Oh, that went fast. Okay, so our active accounts, and Mr. Cooley, feel free to ask any questions. This is the same numbers, updated numbers I give every quarter. So if you have questions about what it means or what they are, just interrupt me, or anybody if you have questions. So our active accounts as of just this past week was 1,379. I won't go through the list individually, but you can see this is how they're broken down as to the types of accounts that we have.
On that slide, Shelley, it looks like we're increasing, like.
Yes, we are. So you'll see it on the
everyone
next
except,
slide. Yes, we have increased ever since we've started. We started tracking these particular numbers July of '21. So each quarter, taking a look and a snapshot of what those numbers look like, we are increasing at a nice rate. So that's what those numbers look like. So 1,379 is where we're at now. The rental zones, Ms. Felicia had asked for this in the past, Mr. Cooley, so this is one of the reports that we were able to put together due to the confidentiality of the accounts. We were able to break it down this far. We can't go much further than this, so I will go over these numbers: 775 in the unincorporated area, 402 in the city of Palm Coast, 178 in the city of Flagler Beach, and then 24 is comprised of the city of Bunnell, town of Marineland, and city of Beverly Beach. All of those numbers notably up from the last quarter. Any questions about that? Okay. Oh, gosh. Fast. All right. And so this is just a line graph showing the trends. The yellow line at the top is obviously this year. It's following the same trends as in the past, other than Mr. Cooley. The black line is when COVID hit. So we like to keep that pointed out. Any questions about that? No? Okay. All right, and so this is what the January collection has looked like since 2017 and to 2023. So this January of 23, our collections were almost $350,000 versus 2017, $130,000. Yeah. So same for February. Our collections for February of 23 were $267,000 versus 2017, $114,000. And then the March, almost $400,000 was collected. Again, like Miss Amy said, we had a pretty good bike week. Any questions about that? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We do have a pretty good team. All right, so enforcements, we're also tasked with doing enforcements. When they don't pay, we do go after them. And in the last quarter, we did approximately 16 enforcement actions. Currently, we have 0 pending warrants because everybody paid their fair share, and those efforts collected $7,307. One of our many things that we offer on our website, one of the things is the anonymous reporter. That's mainly used for people to report a lot of things, but mainly it was designed to have people tell on folks that aren't paying their fair share of tourist tax. They do report other things. People don't understand quite what it is, so we get my neighbor didn't cut his grass, tell the city of Palm Coast, so we sometimes have to forward those off. But mostly it is, when they click on that, they're telling us that their neighbor has New York plates and cars in the driveway this week, and the next week it's Minnesota, and the next week it's this one and that one. So they're obviously renting and they're not paying tax. Well, we can't tell them if they are or they aren't. And I will say that a lot of the times we find out these people are already registered with us, but we can't tell them. So anyway, but it is a way for people to report to us. It's one of the ways that we offer. We get phone calls, but we get a lot of anonymous reporting. We average about 1 to 2 a month. Any questions about that?
No, and maybe a few months back, you switched over from having that contractor help you with rentals.
We still have them. And I just didn't include it in this report, but we do still have that third-party vendor. So that's where we're getting most of our accounts. We're using the third-party vendor to run reports. They see the data in real time and can report to us any new rentals in the last week, in the last month, however we pull the report. So we're able to send letters out and say, we know you're renting, it's time to sign up with us. And so that's how we're getting these new accounts, mostly, the majority of them. But we do get a lot from this over the years. Not only when we get these, either by the third-party vendor or however we get them, we also do turn them into the property appraiser's office if we recognize that they're getting homestead exemption. So that's another thing that we do. All right, the January collection allowance. So I know most of you know about the collection allowance. Mr. Cooley, I'll refresh you if you don't mind. The collection allowance, so the tourist tax is a pass-through tax, just like sales tax. And I guess you're familiar with paying sales tax, I assume, with your store, right? So you know that you get the collection allowance when you pay directly to DOR. You get 2.5% up to $30 each month or quarter that you file. So the same is true for the tourist tax collection. Previously in our system, we weren't set up. As you remember, we have over 1,000 accounts, 1,379. Each account previously was able to collect up to that $30. It's just the way our system was designed. We had that fixed to comply with Department of Revenue's requirements. And since that has gone into effect, you can see those collection allowances that we were allowing people to take, we've been able to scale those back effectively. And so this time last year, it was almost $5,000 that we lost in revenue due to that. And so now it's reduced to $2,700. So there's some savings there that stays with the tourist development funds.
Right, right.
This is what it looked like for February. And then in March. So significant savings over a year, right? And that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions?
Just a statement about the 2.5.
Yes.
The loophole that everyone was kind of able to find
Yeah.
is
So
now,
it was a
has now
tra-
been closed.
Yes, it
And-
was a trade-off at the time
Right.
when we took over from the state and the Board of County Commissioners asked us to do that, Ms. Johnston's office to do that. It was a compromise because at the time, the Tourist Development Council was more concerned with getting the data that they weren't getting from Department of Revenue. And in order for us to do that, we had to do individual accounts so that every account would have to register and we knew who they were and where they were and all of those things, and able to get these types of reports that you guys ask for. In doing that, that's what we lost because the system wasn't
Set up that
able-
way.
It's what they call a management module or a multiple account module. The availability just didn't exist in the system, but it does now.
Right. I just wanted to bring that up because I knew Mr. Cooley
Yes.
wasn't here at the time, and it's a huge loophole that you guys have closed, and we
Yes.
really appreciate it.
Yes.
I had a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do y'all still have that wall in the tax office?
Yeah, he was here in the very beginning, so he remembers the war room. No, that's come down since then, and it's now made its way to a PowerPoint, effectively. Yeah, in real time, when it was all happening, it was pretty chaotic. It was a very short amount of time that it was like, hey, we want you to collect it. By the way, we don't know who anybody is, and we're going to start in like 3 months. So we had to find them and build them and collect them rather quickly. So it was
Y'all should
quite
have
chaotic.
seen it.
I
So
remember.
when we, when we first asked this office to take this over, it was a monumental task to pick up from scratch. And they actually had a graphic that continued down the hallway of the whole office. It was amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I appreciate your
Well,
time.
everything
Thank
looks like
you.
it's under control right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
and
very
welcome
much.
back. All right.
Any other comments
Oh,
or
yeah.
questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we now have a couple of event funding items we'll have to go through. So item 6 on your agenda is review and recommendation board for $4,000 for continuing education company summer conference, July 10th through 14th, 2023. Is anybody going to present that, Amy, or is it just what we have in our notes?
I can give a quick overview, refresher. As most of you know, continuing education, the owner, Walter Ennis, has been a longtime partner of ours, and he has the 2 sessions, medical conference certifications in spring and summer. So this is his summer session. And this one here, he is anticipating about 230 doctors registered, and then they bring their family members, and usually that's estimated to be a total of 800 attendees. And what's unique about and wonderful about this conference, how he sets it up, is they're done with their sessions by lunchtime, so they're able to explore other areas of the county. A lot of restaurants and businesses benefit from these folks coming in. And it's about 873 room nights with an average daily rate of $373. We do have someone here, I believe, from the organization who can answer any questions. And with that, I'll close my recap.
Want to come forward and quick review, or however long it's going to take?
Hi, my name is Beth Ryan Townsend, and Walter is traveling, so he asked that I be here. And Amy, thank you so much for summing that up. But on behalf of Continuing Education Company, we love holding the conferences at Hammock Beach Resort, and I actually was just helping compile the reports from our spring conference and the survey data that we collect for you all. Happy to say it brings a lot of new faces to Flagler County, and just thank you for your support.
Questions?
No, but Chairman, I do need to abstain from voting on this and assign the appropriate forms for it. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Stephen.
Sheriff, I could ask a question. In previous years, going back, TDC has had a presence there at that conference. Is that continuing?
Yes, we have Deborah Naughton, who sets up an incredible display of our office and all of the things to do. She has maps blown up and gives itineraries. She collects menus from local restaurants, and she is boots on the ground, begging restaurants that they have no idea how much they love to pick up the paper menus from the restaurants, take them back to their room, and kind of plan where they're going to eat, of course, each day that they're here. So there is a lot of outreach and partnership that our office does, thanks to Deborah.
It's a great way to capitalize on those visitors.
Yes, absolutely. And you do 2 a year now, right? So.
In spring and one in summer, so three
Right.
total.
3 a year now.
but yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and I
Okay,
think last time we had Ripple Effect Eco Tours was out there signing people up right there on the spot to take tours. So it's a great opportunity.
Great. Comments from the board? Questions? All right, well, thank you. So I'll bring it back to the board for a motion to, so we've reviewed it, and we want to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners approval of the $4,000 Continuing Education Company Summer Conference.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? No one else in the public here. So bring it back to the board to approve, not to approve, but to recommend to the BOCC $4,000 Continuing Education Company Summer Conference, July 10th through 14th, 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Go on. So thank you and good luck on the event. We'll go on to item 7, and this is another fiscal 2024 Fund 110 review and recommendation of Board of County Commissioners for $6,500 to the NCCAA. It's not NCAA, it's NCCAA
Oopsies.
Golf Championship, October 21st through 25, 2023. So I guess, Amy, if you had, I don't see anybody else here, so I guess it's going to be you.
It's going to be me. This is another organization that we have partnered with for the past couple years. It is a golf tournament of Christian colleges. There's about 15 teams. It's the 7th year that they are repeat business for Hammock Beach Resort, and that's wonderful because that when you can retain repeat business, it frees up the salespeople's time to get that new business, and you can get it to run seamlessly at some point, and it's a lot of the resources and time taken off the sales folks so they can work on getting new business. But what's nice about this organization is that when they come, they do a local project that gives back to the community. And last year, they partnered with Grace Food Bank in Palm Coast, and they collected over 2 tons of food and $1,500 in cash gifts. So they do give back to the community when they're here, so that is nice. There'll be about 130 of the players, and of course they bring some family members too, so that's anticipated between 250 and 300 of those folks coming. So they have requested, and we usually have in the past, we sponsor some sort of breakfast or award ceremony, so that is the request for our support to this tournament.
Thank you, Amy. Questions or comments by the board?
Chairman, I need to abstain from voting on this as we have a block in the rooms. Yep. Yes, sir.
Good, though. It shows you're bringing some business in.
You sound like our boss at work. Yeah.
So with that, no one in the public, so I need, back to the board for a motion to approve this item 7.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this item, so seeing no public here to comment on it further, we have a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners $6,500 from Fund 110 to the NCCAA Golf Championship here October 21st to 25th, 2023. And that will be for fiscal year 24. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any negatives? Seeing none. That passes unanimously. So with that, we'll complete item 7 and go on to 8, which is quarterly marketing reports. So Courtney, I guess, is Courtney going to do that? Go ahead.
Courtney and Candy.
With the first piece there.
Okay, so in January, we focused on wellness tourism and the new year with blogs featuring Ohana Food Company, the 5 best things to do in Palm Coast and the Flagler Beaches, and a bucket list blog that I referred to earlier. And it was like a preview of sorts and listed out all our big events and things to do each month in 2023. We also continued our Meet a Local series in January. I interviewed Ohana's owner, Jennifer Blumenfeld, and it did really well on social organically. It reached almost 80,000 and had over 4,000 users engaged and with the post and nearly 2,000 link clicks to our website. Then in February, we focused on our blog and print and digital buys for like couples, getaways, and weddings. We had a blog that highlighted the 5 unique Valentine's Day activities, like a sunset cruise with Mystic Knot and throwing axes, very romantic, at Tomahawk Tavern. We also ran a paid article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution highlighting the destination as a perfect weekend getaway. That's the one in the middle right there. And some of the highlighted partners in that article were Hammock Beach, Island Cottage Inn, Marineland, and the Flagler Beach Historical Museum. There's some others as well. We also ran a fun print ad in Orlando Magazine's February bridal insert. That's the one on the far right, trying to highlight our area as perfect for weddings. Also in February, we partnered with Visit Florida to host a golf travel writer, Grant Frazier of flagstick.com and Golf the World. Mr. Frazier stayed at Hammock Beach Resort per his request and played the conservatory course. Once those articles are published, I'll share them at the next meeting. We also had a highlight in the First Coast of Golf newsletter as part of its Canadian takeover campaign that we participated in. And in March, we featured content centered around spring break and bike week. For spring break, we created a 3-day family-friendly funcation itinerary and highlighted businesses like Raga Surf Cafe, La Creperie Cafe, Florida Ag Museum, and Oceanside. We also ran a blog article that covered just some of the many places to grab burgers in the destination, and then Candy shared some really yummy burger imagery in a social post right there. It's making us all hungry. And then finally, we received our Q1 data for all of our paid digital marketing ads that we run alongside our own content, like social and the blog. These are the outside-the-box campaign ads that are running consistently as part of our co-op partnership buys with Visit Florida, as well as some standalone buys. And we target families, folks interested in impulse getaways, and warm weather seekers in our key DMAs in the Southeast.
Job.
All right. In February, I spoke at an FB3, which is the Flagler Beach Business Bureau meeting, about our many partner benefits. And through that meeting, I presented an opportunity to come out and take photos and videos of Flagler Beach restaurants. It's in a slower season for Flagler Beach, so giving them an extra boost to their businesses we thought would be good, and we also were in need of some new ocean view dining photos. So 8 restaurants expressed interest, and we value that conservatively at $2,000 per restaurant. So I went out to these restaurants, took photos, videos, and then you can see here that the videos I used for a real Instagram Reels series called Flavors of Flagler. I knew that I would now. And then the 8 restaurants that participated were the Anchor, Romero's Tuscany by the Sea, Flagler Fish Company, Beachfront Grill, High Tides at Snack Jack, Oceanside Beach Bar and Grill, and Golden Lion Cafe. Several of the photos here were actually taken by Cycle Here Media, the company that we hire to do our marketing videos. And we had them come out to Golden Lion specifically to capture very high quality images for a billboard on 95. And that's what the billboard will look like. It is scheduled to be installed this week. It's in addition to the other one that has the surfing dog on it. So it's a second billboard on I-95, and it's at the exit right before Flagler Beach. So it highlights that the beach is just 3 miles from the exit, which is a big
I
deal.
just had a quick comment on that. I love the billboard and all that. I'm not sure we should say 3 miles. A lot of people don't understand distance. And so I would just say, you know, very close or nearby, or use a different word, because 3 miles, people might think that's a lot, like if I had to walk 3 miles. So I thought maybe it's too late, but to come up with another way of saying closest point to the ocean, or, you know, just, because I think that 3 miles may or may not be a good term to use there. And just a thought, that's just me.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, so many are using their GPS, their phone, their whatever, and it talks about miles. It talks
Yeah,
about
I agree
that
with
distance.
Alicia.
So I think it's the new way of telling people how close it is, rather than the old way.
And they're coming down down or up I-95, so it's a.
Mileage is
yeah,
what they're
it's a
looking at.
really quick way to capture.
You know, when you stay, you're not 3 miles from the beach.
But from that point,
Yeah, but from I-95, it's that.
I know,
appears
people have to
close.
figure that out, but,
Yeah.
okay, just a thought.
I have a question. So is it at exit 289?
Yes, it's right before exit 289, so it says exit now. So
84, right?
100, is 100?
All right, so it's at 84.
284, okay, sorry.
Yep, no, okay.
It's 3 miles.
84.
Yes.
We use that same moniker. It's 3 miles to the ocean,
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah.
It actually is. It's actually 2.8, but anyway.
yeah. Yeah, it's really not 3 miles.
Yeah, it's less.
Yeah, if you start taking note as you're driving on 95, you'll see that is kind of common where restaurants will say 5 miles, 2 miles, and the ones who have a lot of money, they pay for a lot of billboards, and you'll notice it increments. They keep reminding you.
We're looking at you at south of the border.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is a billboard that the county owns, the TDC owns, so we just have to pay to have it skinned, it's called. So this one has been approved, and it's scheduled to go up in the next week or so. But we can also play with it next time. Maybe it's just sort of minutes, maybe 5 minutes or something like that.
It's the big thing about that exit, it's the closest point on 95 to the ocean. And you can't say all that on the billboard, I
Yeah.
know. I'm just trying to, if there's some other way, I want people to think it's really close, you know, and so,
Just
because
over the
when
hill.
when you stay here, you're not 3 miles from the beach.
How long is the skin going to be up?
Since we own it, either until we decide to change it or Mother Nature blows it off.
Okay, it's just me, I mean, just a thought.
Good ideas.
Apparently,
So this is in preparation.
Good ideas.
This is in preparation for a lot of the projects that are going to be happening in Flagler Beach. And that will likely cause disruption along A1A. So we're still trying to drive people into the businesses, keep the economy moving while all the projects are happening with the Army Corps and hotel, and the list goes on and on.
no doubt about it. Okay,
And you'll notice, sorry.
go ahead, you're right, with we're doing the marketing media.
Yes. And you'll notice too that even though this was taken at Golden Lion, there's no logos or signage because it's promoting Ocean View dining as a whole, not just at Golden Lion, but they tend to have a very good view right there, front and center. And so now that we're moving into a very busy season for Flagler Beach, we want to spread the love further north and inland to the other areas in the county. So you'll start to see on social media us sharing a lot about the Hammock, Bunnell, Palm Coast Parks and Trails. I've gone out already to Hot Diggity Dogs, Herschel King, Hall Creek Preserve. So we're looking forward to transitioning some to that. Additionally, we are focusing heavily on ecotourism. Courtney wrote some really great blog posts recently. One was a one-on-one interview with Lori from Flagler Turtle Patrol. She also wrote one talking about the ways that our area protects and preserves the coastline and its inhabitants. And then ecotourism adventures, so hiking, biking, and then along with that on social media, Instagram Reels, as I've mentioned before, perform really well for us. So I've been promoting all of those blog posts.
Sometimes I feel like I got to run away. I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere, and I lost my life. For I tossed and turned, I can't sleep at night. Sometimes I feel like I got to run away. I've got to get away, 'cause you don't really want any more for me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and you think love is to pray, but I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Back to back to
And then we have a sea turtle release at River to Sea Preserve in Marineland.
So exciting when they make it past that first break.
Oh, yes. And Washington Oaks, of course.
only fools rush in.
So those are just a few. Everything that we're showing you is just a quick snippet of all that we're doing. And then we've also heavily been pushing events. So Courtney mentioned the increases that we've seen to the events page on our website. That is always a popular section of our site, and certainly we want to take advantage of that. And I think through the content that Courtney's been creating and through social media, we have really been able to drive more and more people to that area of our website. She recently did 3 great blog posts about Hang 8 dog surfing. She did another one-on-one interview with Gary Lubai from Palm Coast Songwriters Festival, and then a roundup of spring events in the area. So in addition to the overall events in the area, there are some that stand out as key events, signature events that happen every single year that really have the ability, the potential to drive a lot of out-of-towners to the area. And the Strawberry Festival has stood out as one of them. That is one of the top viewed events on our website in this last quarter. So every weekend or every week, I post a weekend roundup. Christina does an excellent job of updating our events calendar on our website. So I pull from that and include all of the flyers like you see here with some pretty imagery and do a weekend roundup. Then at some of the events, I'll go out and get video and photos so that I can promote them year after year. Princess Place Powwow was another one. And these are some upcoming events, the Palm Coast Songwriters Festival and the Hang 8 dog surfing. And that's it.
All right.
Any questions for
Thank
Courtney
you.
or Candy?
That's all great. The graphics are great, and the colors, they're very bright. You do a great job that way, making them stand out. All right. Any other comments concerning our quarterly marketing?
Just a wonderful job. Thank you, ladies.
Pictures. Candy, are those mostly all your pictures outside of that one marketing company for Golden Lion?
Mm-hmm.
Those are They turn out really nice.
All right, so we're coming to item 9 on the agenda, which is our 2022 year in review presentation. And that'll be done by Amy.
Thank you. This is a scaled-down version from a meeting we hosted January 30th for the industry. It was the State of Tourism. We held it at the Palm Coast Community Center, and we had a variety of folks in the audience. We had some hoteliers, some restaurants, but then we just had interested citizens and residents. So there was a little bit of education that we took advantage of for the folks that don't understand necessarily how we are set up and operate. So I took that part out of the presentation because you guys are good there. But so you'll see a little bit of the things we did to educate people. But we do, this is our first one since COVID, and we are looking forward to having these annually. We had about 80 people in attendance, and we look to grow this every year to have our community outreach to our partners and stakeholders, and continue to grow it, not only in attendance, but add different components to it. We like to incorporate in the future some recognitions within the industry. And it does also touch on our objectives in the strategic plan for that education of our community. So just to remind everyone, because everything we do is tied to our mission, vision, values, and our strategic plan. So our mission here in our office is to elevate Flagler County as a viable and sustainable place to live, work, and visit. Our vision is to connect people with rewarding experiences that empower and inspire them to make a positive contribution within their own communities. And what that means in layman terms, when we were kind of working as a group, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago on this, was we wanted to develop and create experiences like, the sea turtle release, where people they feel inspired when they come here. They feel a little bit more educated, a little bit more thoughtful in their community, that they want to take it back and be a better human where they live. That's what we want people to feel while they're here, and then once they leave. Our values in our office is integrity. We do the right thing always. Passion, we're intensely enthusiastic and it's authentic. Teamwork, we get the job done together. Community, we value our neighbors. Transparency, we're an open book, just ask. Inclusivity, we welcome you and you and you. Sustainability, we protect what we love. So this is a lengthy presentation and has a lot of numbers and a lot of other cool stuff, so I've tried to break it up to not overwhelm you, but everyone can receive a copy of this because there's some really good data in here, but I'm going to jump right into how did we do last year. So this is total accommodation sales. We did $89 million in lodging sales in fiscal year 22, and that was up almost 19%. So this is a breakdown of that $89 million in total sales. So one of the reports Shelley from the tax collector's office was talking about is they're able to break down the type of lodging properties for us. And what we're able to see is we kind of track where opportunities are. So if we see campgrounds are struggling at certain times of year, we look for trends and how to address it. But you'll see how we ended in fiscal year 22, that $89 million, which then brought the $4.4 million in bed tax collections. And the majority of that, 40% of those total collection, was from our hotel chain businesses and the Hammock Beach Resort. So this is for an interesting and important numbers that I'm going to get into from our lodgers, but this is their Bible, is the Smith Travel Report, otherwise known as STAR. So the occupancy, and this includes all the chain hotel, highway restaurants, if you will, and Hammock Beach Resort. That's in this data set. So occupancy, so last year in 2022, 60% of the rooms were occupied. And so sometimes when we're asked about you're marketing too much, we kind of look to the hotels, and if they tell us we're full, then our job is somewhat done. Our job also is to continue economic activity in the county, but also it's the hotels. So they were up 62%, which is good, but there's still room, obviously, but that was about 6% increase. So those same numbers, that same data set, this is now AirDNA, which are all the properties located or listed on Airbnb and VRBO only. So we're able to track the majority of these same data sets for our vacation rental property, and it's a very important product in our community. So that same occupancy this year, 58.5%. So if you compare that to how the hotels did, they did 62%. So they're close. Last year, though, they were at 62%, and the hotels were at 58. So they kind of flipped. So they were down almost 6%.
For that, Amy?
Well, I think if you remember the story that Shelley has, there's more listings in vacation rentals. We haven't added any new hotels, so those numbers haven't changed. It's the vacation rental, so there's more competition. So this is going to be another interesting story. So in the Smith Travel hotels and the resort, their average daily rate, $174.22. Last year, $162, up 7%. Next slide. Same data set for the vacation rentals. That number is very high, $331. So we know just by common sense where those are, that $331. So they were down in occupancy, but they were up in the average daily rate. The next important number to our hoteliers is the RevPAR, which is revenue per available room. That was up 13%. So on average, $108. For our vacation rentals, almost $195, which is incredible with that average daily rate. All right, so then we're just going to briefly talk about our Shelley had a chart like this too, so I'm going to show it two different ways as well. So here's about a 5-year history, so we can see even pre-COVID, we're still surpassing those numbers. And then the next slide shows you a much longer term, goes all the way back to 2005. So this is just another way to present the data that shows the dollar amounts and the trend lines for that. And obviously we track all the unfortunate events that happen each year, all the hurricanes, pandemics. So during my presentation, this is now kind of where we talk about and explain where does all that money go. And we start talking about the pennies. So 60% of those bed tax revenues go to running the office. It goes to paying the staff. It goes to websites. It goes to special event grants. It goes to advertising, just the overall support, the printing. I mean, it is endless how much it takes to run the office. So that's where the majority of the funding goes to. And then we have 20% goes to beach renourishment. Those bullet points are all the eligible and allowable uses. And then 20% goes to our capital project grant program that we have. And these are some of the projects in recent years that we've supported.
We might just say on that beach renourishment, we did make that change where that money's available directly to our, basically faith, I guess, for beach renourishment without having to come back to the board each time. We made that change to make it a little bit easier for them to use that 20% without, we only meet quarterly. And so the process to make it go smoother, if they do it within the current reasons, then they can get it right away. That was one thing we did to make it a little bit easier.
And I'll give an update when I do my office update. So this was part of that education, so I wanted to humor the audience of how are the decisions made of how best to use the dollars. So these are some of the most common ways people feel we should use our money, but we base it on the strategic plan. And this is a snapshot of the strategic plan and where we're at. We have 3 pillars, if you will, and we color code them because that's how we roll. So we have destination development pillar, we have the visitor experience, and we have organizational excellence. So in summary, where we're at now with the strategic plan, there were 11 objectives total within the strategic plan and 38 tactics or kind of tasks. We have completed 13 of those tactics. We have 10 that are ongoing, 8 of those tactics are in progress, and 7 to be determined. So this just gives you some visuals that it match up to some of those tactics and what we've accomplished. So continuing on with the education about how did we get to all those numbers, I'll leave this to play.
Hi, I'm Dave, proud owner of a working peach orchard and big-time supporter of promoting tourism. So, why does a peach farmer care about tourism? Well, let me tell you a little story about John and Jane.
Hi.
They thought it would be nice to take a vacation. John had ideas, and Jane had ideas. But as they talked, they couldn't decide where to go. They knew their perfect place was out there. They just had to find it. Jane flipped through magazines. John started noticing the vacation ads on TV. On his way to work, John saw billboards and heard radio ads.
Mostly sunny skies.
And once he got there, he talked to his friends about where they spent their vacations. Jane did some research on the internet, visiting different websites to see which places had what they were looking for. After seeing all their options, John and Jane came to the same conclusion.
We found the perfect place.
They were so excited, they started to plan their trip right away. After booking their flights, John was eager to line up some things to do in the perfect place. So he visited the Perfect Place's website, watched a video, checked out the hotels, bought tickets to a ball game, and signed up for the Perfect Place's e-newsletter especially for visitors. John also downloaded the Perfect Place's smartphone app so he could get information on the go. Jane liked the Perfect Place's Facebook page and followed the Perfect Place on Twitter so she could get updates, ideas, and special deals. Jane also called the toll-free number and spoke to a nice lady who told her everything she needed to know about the Perfect Place. Jane also got the visitor's guide, which helped her learn what theater productions were in town, where to eat, and other things to do in the Perfect Place. So, John and Jane had explored their options, booked their travel, and planned their vacation. They packed their bags and off they went. End of story, right? Actually, this is where the real story begins, because what do you think John and Jane do when they get to the Perfect Place? Guess what? They spend their money. They spend their money on their rental car, in their hotel, seeing the attractions, enjoying outdoor activities, shopping, and dining out. They're happy they came to the Perfect Place. Woohoo! You know who else is happy? The hotel they stayed in, of course, and the bellman at the hotel, the workers at the local company that supplies his uniform, the stores they shop at, and the banks they use. And then there's the restaurant where John and Jane ate dinner, and the waitress who served them their wine, she's happy too. So's the local vineyard that grew the grapes that made the wine, the people who bottled it, and the drivers who brought it into town, and the peach farmer who supplied the peaches for the cobbler that the waitress served John and Jane for dessert. That's why someone like me cares about tourism in somewhere like the Perfect Place. Yes, I'm a farmer, but I'm also a businessman, and I can draw a lot of conclusions from that story. I bet you can too. Tourism creates jobs. It brings in spending. And tourists pay taxes, which means locals pay less. But tourism is competitive, and without the marketing engine that drives it, people like John and Jane will take their money to some other destination, where it'll benefit some other local economy. Let's make sure our local economy grows. Let's feed it, nurture it, help it along, so it becomes strong, healthy, and delicious. Tourism is vital to us, like oranges to Florida, cars to Michigan, or wine to Napa. Without marketing funding, many visitors will find the perfect place somewhere else. Tourism pays for everyone.
So we have a section on our website under under presentations and workshops and the reporting, so that we always have this up for folks. But this, I think, tells a great story of all the ancillary effects that tourism has on the community, and even more importantly, about the importance of marketing and advertising. So what helped John and Jane decide? As I just said, it was the marketing and advertising. And so what are some of the ways that we market? Well, about this year we have 32% of our budget goes to marketing and advertising, and this is just kind of the breakdown. We have out-of-home, print, SEM, which is search engine marketing, paid social media, and then digital advertising. That's the breakdown, and here's just some visual of those marketing efforts. And now we're going to talk about those in numbers, how John and Jane made a significant impact to our community and the residents. Jobs, they bring jobs. So here we track many things, and of course we do the jobs. So what we've done is we have taken, in the dotted line, there are two different codes. There are accommodations and food, and then arts, entertainment, and recreation. So we see the breakdown, but then the very first bar graph, we call it the cluster. So we have them separated, and then when we combine them, and that's how we get the total number of jobs. Next. So we take those numbers, and then now you can see a percentage, and we've gone all the way back to 2002. So to date of the data we have available from the state, we just recently got Q3 of 2022. So 17% of the total jobs in Flagler County were in that tourism cluster. And also what we track is how we do with some of our neighbors. We kind of align ourselves more with Northeast Florida for different programs, agencies, and reasons. So one of the things our office did was Enterprise Florida did not have a tourism component in their SEDS. So we lobbied when they reworked it to change that. So Dolores from our Economic Development Office, she pulled all of the data for the region for them so that they had all of this data. And this is just some of it. But we, again, went back to 2002. And you can see here the top 3 counties is Nassau. So last year, 2022, Q3, almost 24% of their workforce is tourism, and then behind them is St. Johns County at 20%, and then us at 17%. The other ways they impact is our local sales tax. So again, we take those categories from the tourism cluster, and in 2022, that's over $400 million in sales tax alone from those different categories. So this is the dollar amount, and then we break it down to a percentage. So right here, this tells an interesting story to me, because in 2020, we peaked. And it's kind of like, wait a minute, we were in a pandemic. But what this shows is that even during that time, and we know this because of other data, that the tourism and hospitality industry was the first industry to kind of, from an economic standpoint, to get us out over the hump of being shut down and restricted. So we really pulled us out, I think, during that time. And even when you look back pre-COVID, we are trending a little bit up from that as far as the sales tax. So that's how our county did. And then if you look, same data set, here's the dollar amount from a regional perspective, how each one did. But the next slide shows the percentage. So if you look at going back to the world of 2020, and it's the teal blue color. So you'll see those tourism cluster sales tax, we were at 16.69%. Nassau County, 16% of their economy and 15% from St. John's. So even though we're normally third behind those two counties, we were actually in first place during COVID with those tourism cluster sales tax. So I just find some of this interesting, and hopefully someone else might. So we do have some other additional data that we hadn't shared yet, but in calendar year 2021, we have some data, how many visitors, and we try to stay extremely conservative. And what we are able to find is that when you look at the breakdown of taxes paid in Flagler County, the visitors paid 30%, and this is the sales tax, the ad valorem. And then when you do the formula that looks at the cost of servicing, it was 9% to service the visitors. So yes, there is a downside sometimes that we feel as far as traffic, but there's also another payoff. So it's kind of a tricky balance. I wanted to recap some of our accomplishments we did in 2022. I won't read over all of them, but I am proud of the work that we do. This is the staff right here, and we haven't added an additional staff in probably 6 years. So we continue to do a lot. With the same level of resources to us and continue to add additional work each day. So we are proud of the work that we do. We're proud of the numbers that we produce. And so here's just some of our accomplishments. One of the things we did was sponsor the Scenic A1A Byway Conference, and during that conference, Deborah received the Byway certification as an individual, so she's all things byways now. We continue to add more resources and data and transparency on our website. It's all there, and we try to make it as user-friendly as possible. So we have monthly reports that our partners can go and see. So we upload it every month. So even though we meet quarterly, you can go to that site and check those numbers out. These are some of the awards and recognitions we received. All right, so what are we going to be working on in 2023? One of the things we're excited about is over the summer, we'll be putting out an RFP for a tourism master and sustainability plan. I think we touched upon this probably at the beginning of the fiscal year when we were doing budgets. So with all the growth that's happening in our community, we want to make sure that we have our tourism assets well planned out, but keeping the sustainability part forefront with that. And what we'll look to do is to create focus groups or stakeholder groups so that everyone can have a seat at the table to have their input of what they want tourism to look like, and make sure all of our tourism assets are spread out throughout the community, so we're not pushing people just to certain areas in our community. We want all to benefit. We'll continue to seek federal grants for our Visitor and Eco Discovery Center. And I'll have a separate presentation to give you more of an update on that. But also, one of the things that we were approached from the Northeast Florida Regional Council is they would like to apply on our behalf to do an ecotourism study of all of our assets. They're looking for our visitor center to be the eco center hub regionally. And myself and Commissioner Dance were selected to be on a steering committee for that. So we're representing Flagler County, and there's 2 folks from Palm Coast as well. So we want to make sure that our assets are represented, and there is going to be a lot of state funding available for trails and nature-based assets. We're going to work with Flagler Creates and other organizations as well. Flagler, we're actually going today to meet with them to work on a Pier Through the Years campaign, and this is just some ideas that were floating around. Nothing has been decided. For, since the pier's closed from the storms, maybe there's a way we can get some sort of point of interest developed there, whether it's getting the museum involved and showing just sort of the timeline of the history of the pier. And there's some great campaign ideas we have about postcards, and people can write, like, I don't want to say a love letter, but write because the pier is a very emotional connection people have. There's a component to have the businesses involved, that maybe if they buy a beer somewhere and they say, I want to buy a beer for the pier, and then maybe $1 goes to a certain local charity group. There's a community and resident component. So we have some initial ideas, but obviously we can't do it alone, and we're really looking for local organizations to take the lead. So there's opportunities to have artists involved, where maybe there's a painting, a plein air event in Veterans Park where people can paint the pier or show off photography. So really it's just paying tribute to the pier as they go through construction and while they're closed. Bettering our beaches, we want to relaunch that campaign. Again, once some construction starts, we want to still let people know and educate that our beaches are open, and there's probably times where, okay, from this section to this section is not accessible, so we're going to drive people to and educate where they can go. The Flagler County Cultural Council continues to move forward. One of the next big things they're going to be doing is a strategic plan, website, and events, and also that plan to develop and enhance our ecotourism products and experiences through the Northeast Florida Regional Council Steering Committee. And again, this is one of our objectives in our strategic plan about increasing those ecotourism products. And now Candy will do her part.
All right, we like to remind our partners of all the many free benefits that we offer whenever we get a chance. And of course, the number one question I always get asked, any of us get asked about a marketing opportunity, is how much does it cost? Nothing. It's free to our partners because they're tourism-related businesses. We're not membership-based, so we automatically promote tourism-related businesses for free. And some of the most common ways that we do that would be the business listing on visitflagler.com. All tourism-related businesses get a free business listing. And some of the things that are included in that are location details, Yelp and TripAdvisor reviews, an overview of the business, a photo gallery, hours, and then most importantly are the social media and website links. So when someone clicks on a website link within a partner listing, we call that a partner referral. And in fiscal year 2022, there were 52,000 partner referrals. So again, those are link clicks directly to our partners' websites. So we get them there. What happens after they're there is totally up to our businesses, but we're definitely driving traffic to their websites. Another way to promote partners is through a feature in a blog post. Courtney cranks out a lot of blog content for us, and that continues to be one of the top areas of our website, which she shared with you earlier. And although it can be done in two ways. So sometimes it's a blog post like the Ohana one that is just specifically about that business, but a lot of them are called listicles. And so they're short, sweet, and include a variety of businesses all in one blog post. In fiscal year 2022, there were more than 128,000 blog views, and Courtney wrote 47 blog posts in fiscal year 2022.
Yeah.
We also promote our partners through their events. So we have a spot on our website where they can either go on and submit an event themselves, but more frequently, Christina is entering those for us. So she keeps that events calendar going. Also included in the event listing is the location details, the admission price, the hours, the overview, and again, that website link. So that again is a referral. And in fiscal year 2022, there were 15,000 event referrals. So you can see that's a very popular area of our website. We also send out a monthly visitor e-newsletter that highlights our most recent blog posts, event information, important links and updates for visitors to know. That subscriber list is more than 22,000 currently and growing every single month. Of course, we also promote our partners on social media. We have more than 33,000 followers collectively on our social media accounts. The total engagement for fiscal year 2022 was more than 460,000. So that's likes, comments, shares, link clicks. And we've become a trusted source. So, aside from the questions that we get on the phone, or even just in the comments that we answer questions all the time on social media, we also have Q&A sessions where we say, ask us anything, and we give that information to visitors. And this is also a really good opportunity for us to promote our partners because they want to know, where are the best places to take kids on vacation. So we can put a plug in there for our partners. So all of that is with little to no interaction from partners whatsoever. That's just what we do on our own. So can you imagine if we have that participation from our partners, what we can do together?
You need more employees.
I am out here for you. God, help me. Help me, Rod. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you.
This is how we feel. Like, just help us help you. It's little to no effort on the partner's part. It's just, we just need you to be responsive and get on board. So here are some of the ways that you can make the most out of your partnership with us. And I'll just go through a couple of them. Submit your events online. Nobody knows your events better than you do. So if you go on there, it gives you the opportunity to really sell your event. If we do it, we're just pulling from whatever we can find online. So if you can put it on there, trust me, you're going to sell it better than anyone. Stay informed with our industry and visitor newsletters. This is the easiest way, the easiest thing on this page for you to stay involved and in the know. And then be flexible and respond quickly when there's a marketing opportunity. So like the restaurants and taking photos, when that opportunity is presented, you have to jump on it because that's one tiny part of my job. I can't just take pictures all day, every day, as much as I'd love to. And so if I offer that opportunity, jump on it while it's there, and don't make us beg, please. And so all of this marketing that we do for our partners that is no cost to them does have a value. And so in the last year, we've been tracking and sharing that with our partners. So within the back end of our website, we're able to go in and put a dollar amount of value for each type of advertising, and then it all calculates, and we can share that. So that visitor listing that I mentioned, or the business listing that I mentioned, that has a value to it. Each social media post has a value to it. And so Washington Oaks, for example, in fiscal year 2022, they had a value of almost $6,000 for all of the promotion that we've given. And that, again, nothing on their part at all, just us doing our jobs. And then, of course, we're always here if partners want to get in touch. Anything business listing or event related, Christina Hutzel is in charge of that. Blogs and newsletters would be Courtney, and social media and various content like taking the photos would be me. And please follow us on social media.
Any questions? We're doing great on time. All good?
Well, good. I mean, that was mostly what you presented over at the community center. So some of us were there, I guess.
All right. Well, then I'm ready to move to item 10 if
All right.
you are, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. Give us 1 second. All right. We have a few tabs here. We talked a little bit about in our January meeting, kind of where we were at with nailing down a permanent location there off of State Road 100 at the county property that's known as the Shell Pit. We sought consensus to move forward with due diligence and continuing to work with the Scenic A1A group, but also because it's on 100, that now loops in another byway organization, the Heritage Crossroads Byway. So now we're working with those two folks to apply for the federal grant. We're still waiting for the NOFO, the Notice of Funding, to be released. It was released right around this time last year, so we're on the edge of our seat, and it's a very quick turnaround. Things have got to be pretty close to being shelf ready, so that's just what we've been doing in the meantime. What we've but also some new updates as far as funding. And as a reminder, this is an 80-20, so our match is 20%. And what we found out is that we can use the value of the land to go towards our local match.
My goodness.
So we are getting an appraisal on that. So, and the only rule that they have is the appraisal amount can't exceed your cash match. So we have 1.6 million in cash. So if for some crazy reason that land was valued at 1.6 million, although the building is on 3 acres, the parcel is 23 acres. So we're using the whole 23 acres because that's a much bigger picture that will come in phases through other that state funding that's available. We're using all 23 acres, so we can use up to 1.6 million if the value is even that. So we're very excited about that because that just allows us to continue to capture as many of those federal dollars as possible. The other update for funding is that I mentioned in my annual year in review, Northeast Florida Regional Council, they have made ecotourism and trails a priority. And there is funding that already has been released from the governor and even more funding that's been put in the budget for development of ecotourism in all of Florida, all nature-based outdoor recreation. So the opportunities, not just for this project, but it's almost like the octopus body, and then there's all these tentacles of opportunities that will come as a result. It's almost like this is the catalyst for a lot of other opportunities. And it's nice because it fits in line, not only that was in our strategic plan, but also it's in the county strategic plan. It's a focus for Northeast Florida Regional Council and our community as well, is that we've always said that Mother Nature is our main attraction. What we were approached by Northeast Florida Regional Council. There is another federal grant opportunity that they feel this project has the opportunity to get some funding. So what's nice is because we don't know yet how much money is going to be released into the byway, the federal byway program, and we don't know how much we would be awarded. So having another pot to tap into, and it's the same rules of 80-20, so depending how it shakes out, we can get some grant money from this program, some grant money from this program. So the more we come to the table with, the more our dollar stretches. So that is another update. Some of the due diligence we've done is we've done the environmental study. It's called a NEPA. We're learning a lot here. And the good news is that there was nothing that would be impacted from the facility. There was nothing to wildlife, the historic floodplains, the wild or scenic or river study. I mean, it is all these criterias, and so there was no deal breakers that came as a result of that. So we have that checked off. Let me see. We have, I'm going to show you a video that, so it's all good on paper, and I gave you in your packet the overview of what this center, its purpose, its goals, who it'll serve. And in the strategic plan, as we know what we've been awarded and what it'll look like, and we get all the approvals and we can move truly forward, we'll be able to create almost mini task force of different stakeholders and community partners who want to be a part of what the inside will entail. So obviously there'll be a historical piece to it where we want people to know the history of Flagler County. So we look to get those historical figures, those representatives in our community, and we say, hey, historical people, here's kind of your section, and what do you want to, what story do you want to tell? And let them kind of lead the way of how they want their exhibits to look. And then also they will be tasked with, okay, what sort of revenue generation ideas can you bring to the table? So maybe it's a historical bus tour. We already have a shuttle bus that was donated to us. So, okay, great. So there's opportunity there. So, and the same with, artists, local artists. Are we going to have opportunity to lease out an artist wall where we can rotate, things like that. So this is not just our thoughts. We want the community and the stakeholders in those different categories to really drive that. So that kind of will come later, but I did want to mention that. And so at this Monday's county commission meeting, the county engineer, Faith Alkatib, she gave a project update for the pedestrian bridge. And as you know, we're right next door to it, and there's opportunities to all that will be synergistic, that whole area. So the construction company gave a great video progress update, so I just had to share it. So I'll let Candy play it now. So you can see the shell pit down there where it says State Road 100, right there at the bridge. A-frame feature will be enclosed with lights. Pretty impressive. So you'll see that whole kind of big pocket of our community will be a catalyst for those outdoor nature-based ecotourism activities. And it's pretty exciting. And what I want to show you now is we also did some drone footage. So there to your left is that shell pit. So the front section is where the building would be, and then there's a back portion that we see for another phase through other grant opportunities that we would be able to build outdoor classrooms, have more bathrooms, outdoor bathrooms. That's also where we would store equipment, whether it's the bike rentals, kayak rentals. That's where outdoor programming would be back there in the back. Overflow, opportunity to have weddings. There's be nature lookout, and then right there to that pedestrian bridge. Yeah, we'll show one more. So this is a great contribution to the community for residents because of the quality of life. It preserves and protects this area. And again, it expands the product and the assets that we have. Okay. So we were tasked, we have a architect right now working on renderings for us, and so he asked us, hey, can you send me just some inspirational? So this is not it at all, although this is beautiful, but just so that people can visually, again, take the words that are on paper and just start to visualize of the options. So that's, go back. That's like the outdoor classroom type of opportunity, but also there's programming. So all these are revenue generating opportunities. We would have a porch that goes all the way around. So we have event space that could extend not only indoors, but also outdoors. The doors open up, obviously lots of glass, and the accordion style doorways, big maps, more just inspirational imagery, just for ideas. So peaceful, just some ideas of the indoor type of exhibits that we've been inspired by. Education, interactive. And so this one here with the paddle boards, this is interesting because it's these types of, when I say revenue generating and driving people to other businesses in our community. So for example, you could get a little 1-minute experience where it feels like you're riding a paddleboard through a waterway in our community. Well, if you want to do that, where can you do that? So boom, right there, here are the outfitters, here are the businesses where you can do that. Oh, and by the way, you can book it right here. And that's what we want to be able to do for the businesses. Oh yeah, there's more. Was there more? No. Okay. So that's in a nutshell where we're at. We're just continuing to wait for that notice of funding. And then once we kind of know what we're responsible for and what the big picture looks like, we'll have a much bigger presentation to present to you guys and then on to the BOCC. But in the meantime, again, these projects, especially federal, you kind of work sideways. You don't work how you would think you would work. It's a lot of learning that we're doing on our end. So we're just trying to get ready and be ready to apply for our bite at the apple of some of that federal money. So that concludes my update. Is there any questions?
Anything else? We're really looking forward to that pedestrian bridge, bicycle bridge being opened, and it looks like it's going to be in July when we'll have the opening. So that'll kind of be something, since no fireworks at the beach. It's kind of something to tie in, with the A-frame look of the bridge and all that. Because I do think it will help overall all of the cities, and make us a real center for this ecotourism, which is getting bigger. There's no doubt about it. And we're tied in with the Northeast Regional Council on that. I'm the member on that group up there. We go. Actually, I've got your mayor is on there with me now. So we'll be supportive to make sure that this stuff holds together for us. I guess I wanted to make a point about the money. The bridge really didn't come out of general fund. Maybe a few dollars here and there, but the basic part of that bridge was done by state funds, but not directly out of our general fund. And the same thing, Amy, right? We're looking for at the Eco Tourism Center. It's coming out of tourism dollars, federal funds, and not a lot of general fund. I mean, there always will be a little general fund. I mean, the contribution of the county will be the 23-acre location, which is a good deal. We don't have to pay for the property to start with. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
I also
100%
wanted to mention,
TDT.
the 2-year capital improvement programs we have, which are competitive with the county. That money is untouched also. Yeah, you might want to just mention that.
Yes, so it's 100% tourism development tax that's from reserves that we've had in capital projects. We continue to be very lean and mean with our funding, and as you can see, the better we do each year, the more money we can put into all of those funds. So because we've been fiscally responsible for quite a few years, we had that opportunity. In that funding had been earmarked after the strategic plan because it's probably the biggest lift in the strategic plan. So we quickly identified that we needed to have funds earmarked for that. And yes, and because it is a grant, it's reimbursable. So we will have to have the cash flow available as we continue. So, you submit for $1 million, you spend $1 million, you have to have that available. And again, that's been all part of the plan, is to continue to stockpile so that we are able to demonstrate we are ready to move forward. We have planned ahead for this initiative. So you spend $1 million, then you wait, you get reimbursed, and you spend another $1 million, or whatever the situation is. So we, a lot of times, like at the airport, when they have grants, they have to rely on the general fund for cash flow. We want to be self-sufficient and not burden that fund at all.
Other questions concerning that? So we've got local arts agencies slide up, so I don't know.
Yeah, this is for item number 11, my office update. If you're ready, I can move forward.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to give you another quarterly update of FC3. As you recall, or may not recall, when we first brought all the organizations together and formed the 501c3, there was a lot of let's do this. So we said, okay, let's just break this up and stay on task. So this is the update of where we are at with each initiative. And here's just sort of a summary of that. So we have 10 board of directors. Right now, there are 11 seats, so one is open. And we wanted to make sure all different groups were fairly and equitably represented. So we have people from the performing arts section, visual arts, culture and heritage, and history. And we also, at the recommendation of Commissioner Sullivan, asked that a county commissioner be a part of the council. So Commissioner Pennington is appointed with Commissioner Sullivan, also as an alternate. These are their marketing efforts that they have done. Other organizations that they are a member of: the Florida Cultural Alliance, American for the Arts, Visit Florida. This is a current standing of their memberships at this point, and some of the community engagement initiatives they have done. Like I said in my annual update, the biggest thing right now for them is working on getting a facilitator for a strategic plan, because they need to have direction, they need to have goals, objectives, and stay on course. So we are going to continue to support them in that. And Deborah has been working tirelessly on getting our county represented in the arts and economic prosperity, economic impact studies. So we want actual numbers, data. And so to be a part of this study, they do it, I think, every 5 years. You have to have 800 surveys. There's stipulations. You can't just go to any event. So Deborah has probably collected 600 of those surveys on her own. And this is where they're at so far. You have to have 800, and she has collected 726 so far with you have 1 year to collect all this data. So that's the local arts update. Next thing is not good news, and it's to talk about Tallahassee. And I'll probably be nicer than Felicia probably would be, but we had Tourism Day up in Tallahassee a few weeks ago, and our association sets appointments with each county tourism office with their representatives. And our representatives, unfortunately, did not agree to have an appointment with us.
Remember who you vote for.
That was very disappointing because tourism is the #1 industry, as we just demonstrated with those numbers in our community. And so what we also found out while we were there, because the night before was the first time that the budgets, the first round of public budgets were released. So the governor had recommended in his budget $100 million for Visit Florida. Visit Florida is to us what we are to our local businesses. Everything that Candy showed you of the partnerships that we offer our local businesses, that's what Visit Florida does for us. It's a pass-through. So when we take a marketing campaign and we want to promote ecotourism activities and we want to spend $25,000, Visit Florida then puts in $25,000. So our dollars, which we don't have a lot of compared to our neighbors, is able to be stretched further. So it does impact us. So in the past, under Governor Scott, Visit Florida would receive anywhere between $75 to $76 million, and Visit Florida does have to match with the private dollars as well. And Governor DeSantis had it at $50 million. However, this year he recommended doubling that to $100 million. And Visit Florida has to continue to show ROI, which they have. So for every dollar that they spend, the state gets back $3.27, which is pretty impressive. They save taxpayers, each household of a Florida resident, $1,500. And so the Senate came back with their first round of $80 million. Okay, that's fair. That's in between of what they did have and what the governor recommended. And the House had zero. In fact, not only did they not have zero, they didn't even write Visit Florida in the line item and have a zero next to it. And then they want to state that this is a starting point. It's not a starting point when you don't even have it recognized in your budget. So that's just while we were there. Then when we left, they did a real doozy. They submitted a bill which essentially would dissolve Visit Florida. And although we would think, oh, well, that's too bad, but we're doing good. No. It would hurt our efforts tremendously. And so, back up to Tallahassee, everyone went when it was heard in committee, and it passed. The only thing right now is it's not scheduled to be heard yet. So this is our latest update. The bill could be heard on this Friday at 9 a.m. That is the 46th day of session. House rules state that after the 45th day of a regular session, the notice shall be provided no later than 4:30 PM on the day before the committee or subcommittee meeting. So unfortunately, we will not know until 4:30 tomorrow if the bill will be on the agenda for Friday, this Friday. So what this bill does, it requires us to take those funding from each one of those buckets and send it to Visit Florida, which is, if we were just to do it on this year's revenue, that's over $250,000 that we would never see, we would not see, because the rules, the handcuffs to Visit Florida is they have to spend 75, any money they receive, they have to match it, but not from any state money. So likely they would not be able to receive everyone's money, because if you just take Visit Orlando, that's like, I don't know, $19-20 million. So they'd have to match it, but let's just say they're able to match ours. They have to take that $250,000 by rule and take that and spend 75% to rural counties, which we are not considered, and to state parks and forests. And then every 6 years, it would have to go on voter referendum to reinstate the 5% bed tax. That's crazy.
And I'd just like to say something, and
Go
it
ahead.
is my soapbox. 2020, Florida could not have opened without Visit Florida. Visit Florida spent every dollar they had letting everybody out there know that Florida was open. That is why Ron DeSantis made the change from 50 million to 100 million. He saw what Visit Florida, what tourism actually does for the state of Florida. Our Speaker of the House can't see that. At least he can't see to visit with the people who need to come and visit with him to hear our side of things. So I've said it. I don't know. Why don't you ask him next time you can get an appointment with him?
Florida.
Next time you get an appointment with him, Miss Pam, why don't you ask him? Good luck getting that appointment.
So where it's at now, let's just say it doesn't get on the agenda for this Friday to be heard. It then just becomes backdoor, behind closed doors negotiations.
Which is just politics.
They are ready, it's ready for something that has proven ROI to be sacrificial.
Sunshine laws, do they have,
No,
if it's
they don't
back-
have to, they don't have to follow sunshine laws.
No, they're politicians. No, they don't have to.
took themselves out. You know, the legislature does not have to do the same sunshine laws that we do.
And I know that this is videoed. I don't care. Thank you, Amy. Ridiculous. I don't think,
It's a serious issue,
yes.
and we'll have to see how it works out. I hope something can be done in the meantime, but I think it's all up there now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're getting to that point in
Yep.
the session.
But we
where
still need
it's
to be
all
heard.
in- you know,
Everybody
it's all
should be
interior
phone
fighting.
calling and writing. And I think I sent the cell phone number in the email, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
We don't really have anything late from Paul Renner, what he may or may not do. In other words, now it's kind of like, well, we knew this was going to happen and we'll come to some compromise. But that's not the intent
No.
that they started with. That's just
No,
now
it's to
they've had a lot of,
dissolve.
What's their opposition to tourism, to Visit Florida?
I couldn't speak for them. No,
I
make
truly
assumptions.
believe it's a
the only thing I can
political
remember-
play.
What was the thing where they had the performer coming in a couple of years ago?
Yeah, so there is, and Visit Florida corrected all those concerns, and what Visit Florida
goes
did
back
at the
to that.
time, yeah, they had a musical artist that they had a contract with to promote the state, and there's, Visit Florida was saying it falls under trade secrets statute, because obviously that performer is a marketing, he's,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
yeah, so that's how it all started.
The only thing I'm aware of that maybe back there's some people with
The level of
stuff or something. And
transparency and reporting has, we've met or Visit Florida has met, which requires us to meet too, all of those,
They've gone beyond.
yeah.
They've gone beyond.
So that's that update. So we'll know late tomorrow afternoon, if it's going to be heard or not.
You will let us know what
Absolutely,
happens.
absolutely.
But I did send the cell phone number, so feel free to blow it up.
Thank you. So on a more positive note, National Travel and Tourism Week, which to me it should be a month, is going to be May 7th through 13th. Our office will be going before the Board of County Commission May 1st for a proclamation. And as I always say, this industry is important to our community. These workers, the majority, they're struggling. Our businesses are struggling to keep employees, to hire employees. And really, I said it last year, but I'll say it again, if not all the time, but definitely at least during the month of May, when you go to a tourism business, restaurant especially, thank them. You look them in the eye. If you can leave an extra $1 in your tip, do so. And really, it's thanking them for showing up to work. It's not even thank you for good service anymore. It seems like you're just thanking them for at least coming to work at this point. So take that time to thank and appreciate them. We'll be doing things all throughout the week like we usually do, but the more that can join in and show that appreciation. Ryan Crabb from Hilton Garden Inn, for those of you who may not know, he is no longer at the Hilton Garden Inn. We have a new general manager. His name's Dan Mandrine. He actually comes from another Hilton Garden Inn down in Daytona Beach, Oceanside. And so he's the permanent general manager, and he's actually a resident of Flagler County, has lived here for years. He has kids that go to Bunnell Elementary. And we met with him, and he is excited to be able to retain the seat here on the council for the Hilton Garden Inn. So we look to have him at our next meeting in July. Also in July, we'll receive, probably through a report, but it'll be in your packet, a project update from the City of Palm Coast for that expansion of the tennis center. So we'll see where they are in that construction, and also from Marineland Marina. Also, Commissioner Sullivan brought up at the beginning about the beach fund. We talked about at our last meeting, having the beach fund be recognized, the process through the form of a resolution. So we will be working on that with legal and administration. One of the delays was, I'm sure everyone's heard that they were waiting on the last holdout over in Flagler Beach for the Army Corps project, and that had to go through court. So it kind of happened at the same time where our county legal office was all hands on deck dealing with that. So we just said, we'll wait till that's off your plate. Because also what we realized is we have other resolutions that need to be cleaned up that recognize the old grant programs for special event and capital projects. So we're going to do one big resolution that addresses it all and recognizes all the process. Yes, sir.
This might be more towards Chair Sullivan, but so the resolution for the beach fund, and I guess I'm out of the loop on that. So when that resolution happens, does that mean that county is going to make a line item for beach funds in the budget? Is that what you're referring to, or is that something else?
This resolution will only speak to our contribution to the beach fund. It won't address what the county does each year in their general fund budget. That's how I understand
Still
it.
going to stay where it is.
Talking about our 20%.
Got it.
Or 20%.
Okay. So I guess the other question would be, is county moving in a direction that the beach, because currently there is no line item for the beach at all in county budget. Is that something that is going to get future?
I'm not sure. I know we're putting a lot of money into the beach right now. You know, we're dumping a lot of sand,
Right.
and at the northern part of the beach. So I guess I'll put that down as a note and check it. Okay.
And lastly, speaking of the beach, if you want to tune in to the May 1st County Commission meeting, our county engineer is going to be giving a beach update. So we might get some answers then of some funding status. I know she said at the Monday meeting, or no, maybe that was an agenda meeting call we had. She invited Jason Herrera from the Army Corps to give a update on the Army Corps project as well. So if you can't watch it live, it'll be recorded. So we will have that beach update for you. So with that, that is my quarterly update.
All right, so we're getting towards the end here. We've got to get to our luncheons. So there's no community outreach because there's nobody from the public here at this point. So back to the board for any final comments for this.
Am I doing my update too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Yeah, we had a fantastic, let me introduce myself. I'm Lisa Robinson, the General Manager of the Hampton Inn and Suites in Palm Coast. We had a great first quarter. Everything was rolling good. We are fully staffed for the first time since 2020. Hilton is doing some pretty good things. In the organization, we have something called Connected Room. We were the first hotel in the portfolio to go live via the internet for the Connected Room. And what Connected Room is a way that you manage everything in your stay through your TV, and it's wireless. So we were the test property for the wireless. 5 years ago, I was at GM conference, and I stayed in La Jolla at the Embassy Suites, where they were the test property for wire. So I was proud that my property got to be Little Old Palm Coast. We got to be the test property for the wireless. We went live last Thursday, and everything went well. So what happens with Connected Room is you're able to use your app, and your TV shows and all the things that you like are tailored to you in your app. And we also have the digital key check-in and check-out. So we're going to be totally contactless kind of with that type of thing. So that works out with, a little bit of COVID still running around. So with that being said, I have to do a directory that's digital. So I will be harassing Amy in her office because I don't know how to do it. So I will need help to get our stuff on that Connected Room. We are already up on the websites connected with you guys, and I have a company that I pay for that does that with y'all. So all that comes up, but we need it to come up on the screen. So I'll be calling y'all by Friday. Other than that, this beginning of April is kind of slow, and I don't know why. So I guess we'll find out. But it was, according to Hilton, it was everything coming into Florida. And it shows on the star. So something happened after Easter with that spring break. So we have to figure out what that was. We are hosting the horseshoe tournament this week and some other things that I host, but we were very, very slow for what we call Little People Spring Break. The last week, that's the up north, where people up north go on break after Easter as opposed to we go before. So that's all I have.
Yes, sir, Chairman. We opened up the beach shops at the resort. If you've been to the resort, the area below the North Ocean Towers, been there 16 years, just been always just dirt floors in there. You have the doors, you can open up, it looks beautiful. Hey, they're open now. And so we have pizza and gelato, we have a game room for the teens, and we have our gift shop moved there from the lobby. So that was exciting to see. The old gift shop now is being renovated, opened up this summer to kind of like a Starbucks on steroids type thing, kind of a grab and go, everything milk, orange juice, bakery goods. So that's exciting. And same with Lisa Strong, first 6 months. Last 6 months, man, we need some help. So that's what we've been concentrating a lot on. So rate still really strong, occupancy strong, but we're really watching those last 6 months. Yeah.
And Walker Adventures. I can think maybe I know why things are down is because everybody is traveling all over the world. And there's a new thing coming out that I think everybody should be aware of. It's called dynamic pricing. The airlines are using it and have used it for quite some time. Now hotels are getting into it, which is very disturbing because it's fluctuating rates, and it's very hard for people to discern whether they're going a place or not, because the premise is if it's full, the prices go up. If they're empty, the prices go down, and therefore visitors can't tell. They may check a hotel rate one day, and the next day it's completely different. I don't know whether any of us use it here or not, but it's, to me, in the travel industry, it's a very scary premise because there's not an even playing field as I can see it. I will be writing about it in my next newsletter this Friday because I think it's something everyone needs to know about. It's called dynamic pricing. That's it.
Nick?
Sure, absolutely. Nick Lufus, City of Palm Coast. One highlight, I would say, the City of Palm Coast, we have a new public-private partnership with Loopers Restaurant over at the Palm Harbor Golf Course that just opened this weekend. That's phenomenal. We're also completing construction at the Waterside Park. We're adding water access there, so that project's coming along nicely. And I'm also looking forward to see the progress report on how we're moving over at the West Side Tennis Center expansion. And just want to say thank you guys. You guys have tremendous presentations, and the year in review was great, and I look forward to another year in review 1 year from now. Thank you.
Well, appreciate y'all having me again. It's been a little while. Last time I was here, we had people yelling at us from up top there and everything. But it's good to be back. And so I got a couple comments. The first one is probably jumping a little bit ahead. And it was mentioned a little bit in the presentation where you're talking about the sustainability plan for Flagler County tourism. And the reason why I want to bring it up now is just because we have some city leaders and county leaders here, and I just want to prime the well. It's not something we're going to solve, but it's just for discussion point. Is there a way to bring up the tax collector presentation? Go to slide 4, which has the map.
Felicia map.
Okay, so looking at this map, you all see the county. Green is Palm Coast, blue is Bunnell, yellow is unincorporated, and then you're going to see a little tiny speck to the right of dark blue, which is Flagler Beach. So the issue that is happening is the last time I was here was pre-COVID, when tourism was actually a little bit down. We were losing traction to Texas, and there was the question of what do we do to help tourism out, and that's completely changed. Post-COVID, by Florida staying open, it's changed the entire dynamic, and it's also changed the entire dynamic of the county as far as residents go. Our population has exploded. And something, when we talk about the long-term vision of tourism, if you look at Flagler Beach, what is happening is there's a choke point as far as beach accessibility goes in county. So Palm Coast has 100,000 plus residents, county's got tons, everybody's got a lot, and we have a lot more coming because of all the building. And getting folks that live in county to the beach is going to end up becoming a challenge because we have a geographic, choke point there. And one of the challenges that we're facing as a city is how to get these people to the beach and where to put them when they want to arrive. And what's going to end up happening is we're going to have a conflict between county residents trying to get to the beach competing with tourism because there's only so many points you can get to the beach. And the ask here in the future is going to be, we're going to look to unincorporated, we're going to look to City of Palm Coast going, how do we get our casual beachgoers, the ones who are not tourism related, that are just want to go to the beach with a cooler, be left alone, not go to any businesses. How do we get them to the beach in a way that's not going to conflict with tourism? Because what's going to happen is that little blue speck is going to end up becoming so saturated that tourists are going to compete with residents in beach access. And so then you're going to see a potential issue. And I wanted to kind of just prime that well for discussion because when we're thinking long-term plans, we have a very big population increase that we just went through, and we have another one coming, and it's not going to slow down. So this is this has a big impact on tourism potentially. So I wanted to just kind of, so you all have some food for thought. If you have strategic planning or budgeting coming up, that's a conversation that can be had. Flagler Beach has got 53 working and non-working walkover locations, we'll call it. And I believe county has less than 10. I think it's 6 or 7 total. And we see this, and you probably see this quite a bit. This is outside of county, but when you look at Matanzas, the general population that visits that location has exploded, and now there's 2-mile walk sometimes to be able to just get to that beach location. And that's a symptom of this gigantic population growth that's happened that we as a whole have not necessarily responded to as far as getting people to be able to get beach access. So just food for thought. It's very much on Flagler Beach's radar because you hear about it in the press all the time. And then we have construction projects coming that is going to compound this issue. And then we also have beach accessibility in the next couple of years that's going to compound this issue. But we have a residential base that is exploding, so we have more people competing for less area. And so that's very much on our radars, and it's, make for good future discussion. The other thing I got is I wanted to thank tourism for the help with all of our beach events and our restaurant tours that are along the A1A strip. And I know you all have worked very hard in trying to herd the cats and get all of the folks that need help and could use a little bit of economic boost, and give them that exposure. And I see it. And, I'm sure y'all deal with probably 9 complaints and 1 compliment. So I want to be the one that gives you the compliment publicly. It's appreciated. And for those of you that don't know, there is a event coming up that I'm personally involved in, so I have to give a plug, and that's dog surfing. We have the Hang 8 dog surfing competition coming up. And the 2 people that are the organizers of the Hang 8 dog surfing competition know absolutely nothing about how to put events on. And I'm one of them.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not an event organizer. And so we have folks coming all the way from the Carolinas, all the way down to every part of Florida, Georgia. I think there's a couple Alabama folks. So we're working to get all those folks into the hotels and find the dog-friendly places and everything. But, just kind of bear with us. We're hoping to be, as each year goes on, get a little better. This event was kind of it was designed to be a fun one, and it is quickly becoming a very large event just because who doesn't like surfing dogs? May 20th.
May 20th.
Yep.
Yeah, 20th.
But there's folks coming from all around, so we have a little bit of impact in tourism, but we don't know anything about how to put events on and coordinate all that, so we just kind of do it off the cuff. But I wanted to let everybody know about that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Alicia?
Felicia Cook with Marine Land Dolphin Adventure, Park Director. Earth Day is April 22nd. That's this Saturday. We are having a beach cleanup from 8 to 10 a.m. And you're like, okay, what good is that going to do? Well, the high tide comes in at 11, so we don't have a choice. As you know, all of our lives are run by the tides and the beaches. So we are doing the beach cleanup. I invite all of you to come. Bring your kiddos, bring your grandkids. We will be sorting the pollution that is picked up, and that data will go to the state data collection. So we do beach cleanups all the time. We don't always make them public. So, but this one, because it's Earth Day, it's public. So please come on out to River to Seas Boardwalk and help us with beach cleanup. Also, don't do as I do, but think for yourself. You need to please contact our Speaker of the House, the Ways and Means Committee members, and our House representatives before Friday. So again, this could come to the table on Friday, and if so, they're going to catch people unaware. So we have to get it ahead of time. If you didn't get the emails that you need, I think Amy still has them. If not, I've got them. But if you need to know more about it before you make your stand on it, please talk to one of us. But we need to be heard. The state of Florida is tourism. Flagler County is strong in tourism. So that's all. Thank you. Oh, no, it's not all. We're hiring people. I am so glad, Lisa, that you are fully staffed. But I can tell you that I am not even half staffed. So it is difficult. You have to drive to Marineland in order to want to work for us. Just the last 2 weeks, I have lost 6 employees because it takes them 30 to 45 minutes to get to us. It's not the pay. It's not the benefits. It's because the gas and the wear and tear on their car. And it's just sad. So if you know of anybody who really loves animals and wants to work in that environment, we have lots of different positions open, so please let us know. Or send them, just send them.
All right, so with that finishes out the agenda. Unless there's something else, Amy, that you need to bring up? Everybody okay? So I'll just look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you all
Who
for
made the
being here.
motion? I didn't
I
get.
did.
No.
That was me.
I think Eric, did you make the motion? You made the Felicia, and then I heard a male voice seconding it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Felicia and Nick.
All right. Are you going to the